All right. Let me eat this chip.
Alright, I'm opening it up. Don't vaccinate your kids. No, I'm joking. Please do.
No, don't be... This is a serious issue on this album.
Is it? I know his son has autism.
His son does have autism. And he does have legitimate... not so much legitimate, but I can see where he's coming from. But I'll explain that.
Okay. But, well, we'll get this out of the way so it doesn't come up later. Like you said, you're not pro-vax, you're not anti-vax, you're pro-education. Get the vaccines you need. That's it. Like, look up the side effects, see if it's worthwhile.
I am at a point pro-vaccine, though. Like, I think it's more pro-vaccine and pro-education.
No, I think, like, for, like, the whooping cough and, you know, the measles, like any deathly disease, like tetanus.
Yeah.
Should always get tetanus.
Don't get tetanus, get the tetanus shot.
Yeah, I suppose so. But, yeah, you should definitely do it because that's why the vaccines... Well, that's why the diseases don't exist as much anymore. And there are some kids who have certain things which limit them from being able to get certain vaccines. So to help combat that, every kid who can get it should get it. But that's out of the way. That's my viewpoint. I'll let you take it from here.
All right. I am doing the Allegory by Royce the 5'9", one of my favourite artists.
Yep.
I think in 2018, Book of Ryan was one of my favourite albums of the year. I think that was an extremely focused project.
Yeah.
And I just really liked the work that Royce was doing. I think that he really opened up about his life. It was very controlled. I think the way he rapped on it was very personal, very intimate. And I really liked the theme of like sort of opening up this Book of Ryan, book of his life.
Yeah.
And his son sort of making a project around his dad.
What track do you reckon was your favourite?
On that song, it was called... I can't remember what it was called, actually. But I liked Cocaine.
Yeah, that's my favourite.
That was a really good one. Caterpillar with Eminem. It's not so much as... Didn't really fit the theme. Yeah. And I can't remember the one... it was like the Christmas at the Montgomery home. It wasn't called that. I'll get it up right now. But where he talks about his dad sort of abusing his brother, his older brother.
Okay.
Greggy. No, wait, or is his name Greg? No, his brother's name's Greg. His name's Ryan, I think. Because Greg definitely comes up a lot, but I think that's when he's talking about his brother.
I'll Google him. You look up the track.
Yeah, no, because his name's... Well, if it's not Ryan, then I've like been falsely thinking that like his name is Ryan, and that's it, the Book of Ryan.
It is Ryan, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. That one is called... I think it's called Power.
Okay.
Yes, it is Power.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that was a really fantastic album. One of my favourite of 2018. Definitely one of my most played. It was a fantastic album. And I think that album, for me, really elevated Royce. That was his 7th album. So this is his 8th now. So he's been going for quite a while. Been around since the 90s. And then now into the 20s. So he's been in, 4 decades. The 90s, ooze, 10s, 20s.
Ooze?
4 decades, yeah. The ooze. But
He's
yeah,
probably got my favourite face tattoo as well.
what is it? I didn't even
Lyric.
know he had one. He just has lyric on there.
Yeah.
There you
But
go.
it's in a pretty cool font as well.
There you go. Like that face, like the Instagram. Isn't there one called lyric on Instagram, like a font?
Oh, I don't know.
There you go. I don't know either, to be honest. All right, so let's get into this review. So this album did definitely take some time to grow on me. Like Royce likes to put a lot of skits in, so he had like a lot of sort of samples from stuff, and it took a long time to get into. So Pendulum is the 4th track, which is the track that I really enjoyed, but then the 5th and 6th again sort of petered off. Like I just really didn't enjoy the start. Like The song with Cedric the Entertainer, which is Dope Man, I really enjoyed. But Royce only had like 30 seconds worth of content, and the rest was just sort of like intro and outro.
Okay.
So I didn't really like that so much.
Yeah.
But after the pendulum, it goes I Play Forever, Ice Cream Interlude. And then from On the Block onwards, I think this is a really fantastic album. Like, he really goes in. It has insane rap density, really lyrically solid work. The production is really good. I think they did a really good job on chopping up the samples. Mixing is really good. Like, you can really hear Royce. I think Royce is one of the best at that. I really hate sort of muddied mixing for no reason. Like, I get it for someone like MF Doom or Sweatshirt or someone like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hate muddied mixing on like a trap song. Even though this album isn't trap, but like I just can't stand that. And Royce did a really good job here. Royce has a very powerful voice that sort of comes to the forefront anyway. But yeah, I really enjoyed the features on here. He had all three main members of Griselda. He had Westside Gunn, Conway the Machine, and Benny the Butcher on separate tracks. I really enjoyed that. I think Benny the Butcher was the best. Westside Gunn just did his usual, just like talking. And Westside Gunn, Conway the Machine. I didn't even realize it was him at first. Like, it didn't sound like him, or what I sort of envision him, and sort of his trademark sound.
Yeah.
But highlights for this for me were Tricked. We listened to that last week. Thou Shall and Young World, which had Vince Staples and I can't remember the other guy's name. It's like Young. Wait, where is it? G Pareco. Never heard of G Pareco before, but he did the chorus, I believe. Am I right in saying that? No, he had the verse. Oh no, yes, he had the verse. Yes, I remember now. And Royce had the last verse, the outro, and the choruses on that track. But yeah, the theme of this album. Now, this is where it's dicey for me to talk about it, because I really don't know enough. I'm not in the country and I'm not the race.
Yeah.
He talks a lot about the African American struggles. He talks about sort of the oppression that they've faced for years, like tracks like Black Savage, Tricked, A Black Man's Favorite Shoe, Black People in America, Overcomer, Rhinestone Do-Rag, the Young World. They all sort of talk about, like, they're very obviously, like, Black Man's Favorite Shoe, Black Savages, like, they're very obvious references to sort of the mistreatment and the distrust that black people have of America, and in particular the American
America
government.
has of black people as well.
Yeah, and I don't remember the song now. And Eminem has a very good... I believe it's Eminem. Let me actually triple check that's Eminem, because from the voice, yes. From what he's talking about, yes. Yeah, so it is Eminem. He has a very good skit on there. It's just like a spoken word. It's called Perspective, and I will actually read the thing in... Oh, whoops. I will read the thing in full just because it's very good. Let me get it up on here, actually. But, yes, he talks about the distrust, talks about the malalignment, the sort of alienation almost. Yes, and this song, Black People in America, has a skit at the end that I've never actually thought about, and I will touch on it at the end. I think that there's very touchy subjects on here. He talks about sort of... Now, this is where it goes a bit weird with, and a lot of people are soured off this album because of the anti-vax lines. Now, Royce the 5'9" is obviously a black man living in America. His son has autism. Now, black people in America have been mistreated for generations.
Yeah.
And what his line of thinking, and other people have this line of thinking, other rappers have come out, and other famous...
Okay, and like agreed with him.
Yes. Yeah. Other African American celebrities have come out and said that this is an issue, and it's the distrust that the government and the black people. So the African Americans are saying that, like, why should we trust you on these vaccines when throughout my whole life I've been oppressed by you, and you've sort of done experiments on me, like they've had the experiments done on them. So it's not so much that he doesn't believe in vaccines. It's more so the trust. The trust. He does not trust what the government is doing to him, which I don't agree with. Like, I don't agree with the stance, but I can see where he's coming from.
Yeah, okay. No, I get what you mean.
So it's much more like Royce, I don't think, is an anti-vaxxer. I think he just chooses not to do vaccines, but for other reasons. Yeah. Like, he has his own set of beliefs.
Yeah, that's
fair. It is dangerous to talk about, because I think, like, especially for him, because he has such a wide reach. But I do think that it's hard, because he wants to talk about what he wants to talk about, and he shouldn't have to worry about the repercussions.
Yeah.
Like, it's his life. He's not saying, I think everyone should be anti-vax. He's just sort of saying why he is anti-vax, and I can see where he's coming from. I don't agree with the stance, but I'm not in that situation, so I would have no idea
the experiments,
the extent.
Yeah, the experiments were very fucked up.
Yeah.
I was watching a documentary on on birth control, like when the pill was first. Oh no, it wasn't the pill. It was like the shield or something they called it, and it was like this thing that you put like inside you. Anyway, it fucked a lot of women up and like gave them a whole heap of like STIs and, you know, infections, and they weren't able to have kids, and it had like a lot of repercussions for like entire villages.
Yeah.
And that was just the US government trialing it before releasing it into mainstream. Like, that's not something that should ever happen, and would definitely build a lot of distrust.
Yeah, like, it's it sucks. Like, obviously it sucks what happened and what is continuing to happen, but it sort of sucks that now Royce is getting sort of bad-mouthed again on top of it. Like, he's just has his own set of beliefs, and I'm sure he's going to be the butt of a joke, because it's sort of become memed. But there's really nothing he can do about it.
Yeah. So do you know if he vaccinated his son?
Yeah.
I wonder if he'll continue to.
Well, I don't know, but in the song he says, the vaccines gave my kid autism. So I assume he vaccinated.
Yeah.
But, like, you just can't trust anyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Believe what you want to believe. I think you should get vaccinated for the vaccines that you need. But
do your research, though.
Do your research, and if you have a distrust for someone, maybe seek alternatives. Maybe go to a more trusted doctor, or speak to a medical professional about the benefits. I'm sure Royce has, and I'm sure he has his reasons for doing this again. The health system in America as a whole is not that great.
Yeah.
You obviously have to pay. I was reading, I heard somewhere that you have to pay $40 to touch your baby after it's born.
What?
You have to pay money to. It's called like skin-on-skin contact, and you need
fucking
to pay.
yours.
Yeah. There you go.
So you've got to like pay quite a lot of money to have birth as well.
Yeah, not here.
Yeah, it's free here, but like I can't imagine having to plan for
the skin-on-skin contact.
Well, not even that, just birthing. But like that's next level. That's like going out buying a car. And the guy go, oh, before you get in, $40, come on.
Mate, that's called gas, mate.
That's ridiculous. Skin on skin. Oh, that's fucked.
No.
Like right after it's born, before it's cleaned up?
No, I think it gets cleaned up. But like that, but you know how they put it on your chest?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that, but yeah, $40, mate.
Nah, that's just obvious extortion.
The American health system now. See, I don't know much about it, but I obviously know the sort of grand scheme of it, that it's not free, and there's a lot of sort of
like costs
issues. Yeah. So, and he talks about on the song "Tricked." Let me grab up some lyrics for "Tricked." He says, where does he say it? Like, where does it say? Oh, what the hell? Thinking that my health is not an issue till I'm sick.
I did actually
Forever
really like
have
that
an
line.
issue with my brothers, that's a trick. Because we Crips and Bloods, we kill each other, that's a trick. So think because you do crime that you cannot fall victim. Think you can drink and drive, not end up in car collision.
Yeah.
So, and then that's where he says it. So from day one at the hospital, they target our children. Say they're going to immunize them. Somehow they get autism. Like, the health system is clearly an issue in America and clearly has flaws. And it seems from this and seems from other things, the distrust has built between black people so far that it's ingrained into the culture now.
Yeah,
that,
to just not trust.
Like, I think somewhere, now this could be completely wrong, so someone correct me if it is wrong, that I think that young African-American males are like the least likely to see a doctor in America. That makes sense.
Okay.
And especially mental health professionals. So there is definitely an ingrained culture there against doctors. So take that as you will. So the other half of this album, so there's a lot, that's like an underlying theme. This album is very unfocused. He sort of moves from sort of subject to subject, touching on different sort of facets of racism in America. But then he does just go on about how he's a good rapper and how other rappers aren't as good as him. He big ups himself. He talks shit on Yellow Wolf on the song Overcomer. In reaction to slithers from the lizard's mouth, Yellow Wolf, this is your first and your last pass. I ain't gonna put it on blast, you punk ass know what this about. You think it's about being loud or trying to be hostile, till you're found face down on the ground outside a Kid Rock house. Though you a vulture pundit, I hope you get sober from this. Men lie, women lie, so do numbers. The energy never lies when you're an overcomer. The energy never dies when you're an overcomer. I don't rhyme for the likes. I'm who the jealous target. I'm underground for life. This shit is a seller's market. The rich get richer, the po get poorer. No, the po get more greedy. I was not expecting that. I just sort of predicted the next lyrics. So yeah, he speaks directly on his sort of beef with Yellow Wolf. They used to be label mates on Eminem's label, but now Royce is labelless. He left.
There you go.
But yeah, very lyrically dense track, that one. So I really enjoyed that. Yeah, he has the anti-vax. And this album does seem a bit more unfocused. Like, it's nowhere near as tight as Book of Ryan. Book of Ryan had a very clear goal set out. And Royce has come out and said that he wanted to make this a little bit more sporadic. Just because it sort of fits the overall theme a bit better.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's... I don't trust the government of America because of this and this and this and this and this and this.
So I will read the Eminem skit. Actually, it's very long, so maybe I won't read the whole thing. But he says, but you got people of all races. Now, he's speaking this. Actually, I'll just play it, you know?
Okay.
But you got people of all races, like, coming together and helping shape this from the ground up. So now you got little white kids growing up with black idols, and you got black kids growing up with white idols. And you got, it's just this whole mixing pot. Nothing has brought more races and more people from all different walks of life together than hip-hop. No music has done that. I don't think anything has done that as much as hip-hop has. So, in the same token, I can understand the frustration being that, damn near every form of music, period, was created by black people. So, you got Chuck Berry, you got Rosetta Tharpe, and rock and roll is starting to get some attention, but then along comes Elvis. And people are acting like, oh my God, I've never seen this before. You've seen it before, but you might not have seen a white person do it to this level. So now, he sells the most records and people are calling him the king of rock and roll, right? But on the flip side of the coin, if I'm a black kid growing up in, let's say, the 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever, right? And I'm looking on TV and nobody looks like me and it's very stereotypical, and I'm looking at toys and everything is white. The fucking action figures are all white. The fucking superheroes are all white. Like, maybe there's one or two black superheroes mixed in there with mostly white. I don't know how I grew up and not have a chip on my shoulder. On the other flip side of that coin, we don't get to choose our parents. We don't get to choose what color we're born. It's more about, at that point it becomes you're born, here you are, you're what color you are, you're what nationality you are, and then it's what you do with it, right? To make a difference. To make a difference. To make a difference.
That was really good.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if Eminem wrote that or Royce sort of helped write it, but yeah, like that is very, very sort of interesting, and it is very true. Like like you said, a lot of music. He says all music. Now, I'm no music historian. He says all music was created by black people, and sort of Eminem is almost being hypocritical because he has sold the most records of hip hop. Like he sold I think he's probably like top 10 of all genres all time. He might be even top 5.
But I didn't even think about action figures.
No.
They're all white. Like, yeah. That's not something I've ever even thought about.
Because we're not from that culture, and although Australia has sort of
we have a very
been
similar
labelled
kind of...
as a very racist country.
Yeah.
I think that sort of the next generation, sort of our generation and on, is getting much better. Like,
yeah, we are very open-minded, and
I'm sure we know people
multicultural
older that are quite touchy.
Yeah.
But
I definitely know some boomers.
yeah, some boomers. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's because if you think about it, Indigenous Australians are never on TV. Like, have you ever seen, except for sports stars, like
when there's a legitimate story about Indigenous Australia, then obviously they come on.
TV.
But
you watch a bit more than me, so do you think you see it a lot or no?
No, not really.
I've never seen, because I don't watch much, so. And I think Australian TV is very Americanized, though.
Yeah, it is.
Like, there's not many Australian shows. Like, there's Neighbours. Is there even a Indigenous Australian on Neighbours, or the other one?
I don't think so.
Home and Away.
Like,
maybe
they've
more
been going for
recently.
like fucking 40 years,
Yeah.
so there might have been like one character at one point, but like out of the massive pool of
what's
other...
his name? Alfie? What's his name? Alf.
Oh, yeah, Al Stewart.
Alf Stewart.
I think that's it. I like Toadie from Neighbours.
Toadie. Mate, I've seen a shirt of just his face on it. But yeah, this sort of album review sort of divulged into more of just a chat about
Like politics and
sort of race, which I think is what Royce wants. I think he wants to show because I didn't know basically any of this stuff. Like, I didn't know, I didn't even realize that sort of toys are white.
Yeah.
I never really looked at that as a kid.
Yeah.
But like, if
That's not something
it
you
was
look
the
for.
opposite, I would look for it. So if all the toys were like black, I'd be like, oh, this is a bit weird.
Yeah.
Like, not
Where
weird,
can I
but-
find one like me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And even thinking about it, like when I watched wrestling as a kid, there was like Booker T. There was like, anyone remember Bobby Lashley? But,
Wasn't
all
the
the
Boogeyman
big-
one?
Pardon?
Wasn't the Boogeyman
Yeah,
one?
he was white though.
Yeah. You're
But
naming
yeah, I'm
black
naming
ones.
black
Yeah, okay.
ones. Yeah, so, but like all the big guys, John Cena, Batista, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, they're all white. And I just thinking about that, all because I saw superheroes, so I was like, oh, they're sort of like superheroes, and they're action little figurines.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was not many growing up, so I can see how that they would be alienated and
Yeah.
sort of
Like shunned.
get a chip on their shoulder, like Eminem
Yeah.
said. But like he said at the end, you can't choose what you're born. You just
Yeah, it's what you do with it.
You're an American,
Yeah.
and sadly, half or over half of America doesn't see you as equal to them. And there is a bit of an odd one. It's called. Nope, I have perspective up twice now. Black people in America. Now, I never thought of this. It's a bit weird. And essentially, I don't know actually who's saying this. It just says produced by Royce 5'9", but it's not his voice. But essentially, he's saying that the government, or sort of America or the Western society, specifically America though, has sort of bigged up AIDS and malaria and things like that so that the people won't go back to Africa. Because they think that, like, this mass, like, they would be scared if, like, I don't know, 30% of the population, whatever the African American population is, just moves.
Yeah.
So they sort of scare you from going back because, as this person says, he says, all the value that we bring, we take over there. America wouldn't exist no more. I don't know how accurate that is, but it definitely would put a hole in the system and the economy. So, bit of an odd thing. I've never thought of that. Did they do that? Probably not. Like, that seems a bit outrageous. Because now all these theories come up and you're like, oh no, that's just paranoid. But like, it could happen. Like,
yeah, they've done some very fucked up shit.
Exactly. Like, you wouldn't think that like, America's done like false flags, like where they bombed ships, their own ships, just to start wars, and don't even want to get started on the whole Twin Tower conspiracies and all that. But and even now in England, they've got some conspiracies going around the royal family. So honestly, we don't really know. This album, getting back to it, we're going to bring it all the way back.
Full circle.
Really solid album. Not as good as Book of Ryan. I think Book of Ryan is much better. I think lyrically, this album is probably on par, but just thematically and the cohesiveness just isn't there for me. I am a man that likes a bit of cohesion and a bit of a theme for an album. A cohesive album will get an extra one whole point on it, at least. So for me, this album's a 6. Favorite tracks are Thou Shall. What's the other one? God damn it. Thou Shall, Young World. I thought it was called Young Blacks, but Young World, Pendulum, and the other one I just said, Thou Shall. Go check it out. Yeah, worth a listen. Definitely worth a listen. It is quite long, but if you skip the skits, I think you can get through it fairly quickly. And yeah, have fun. Be open-minded. Be considerate. And there's only like 2 anti-vax lines, so just get over it.
All right. Well, tune in later today for my review of Martyr's Prayer by El Camino and 38 Special. That'll be coming out tonight, so stay tuned for that. That's a wrap.